Hello, this is the AM News Bulletin on the AM Show live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, on Facebook, X Spaces, and on YouTube. Let's start with the details. Doctors at Tamale Teaching Hospital are on strike. The group is protesting the dismissal of its CEO by Health Minister Kwabena Minta-Akando. The doctors say they have suspended all emergency and outpatient services. And here's what that statement says in response to the sack letter. And that statement will be on your screen shortly. It says that press release following the earlier press release today, the Doctors Association of Tamale Teaching Hospital held an emergency General Assembly meeting at 12 noon, and the outcome of the meeting is as follows. So with immediate effect, all members of that have proceeded on an indefinite suspension of all emergency and outpatient services. That is general OPD, antenatal clinic, specialist clinic, and pediatric services. But it goes on to say they are making particular demands. First, they are asking that the minister renders an unqualified apology to the CEO of the hospital. They're saying that Honorable Al-Hassan Saibu Suini should be rendered, an apology should be rendered to him, to Dr. Valentina Kupua, all doctors of the Tamale Teaching Hospital, and staff of the Accident and Emergency Department. And they're also saying that they will resume provision of emergency and outpatient services after they receive appropriate apologies. So it's very pivotal that they get that apology. And so they go on to say the management of the hospital should ensure that the following are available in the short term. 1, constant flow of water through the taps for clinical work. 2, stable electricity supply in the hospital. 3, constant supply of oxygen. Provision of consumable items such as gloves, gauze, cotton, face mask, cannula, sutures, syringes, disinfectants, and etc. They're also asking for a number of things, really. 4 ventilators at the Accident and Emergency Department, and the list goes on. And they're saying that in the medium term, the following must be provided to facilitate their work. They're asking for an MRI scan machine that does not use helium. They're asking for a CT scan machine that has an infusion pump. They're asking for a mammography machine, a fluoroscopy machine, a CR machine, ABG machines in all intensive care units. And these demands, they're saying, if are not met, they will not resume or call off that strike. And this is all in response to that sacking of the CEO of the Tamale Teaching Hospital. We'll bring you more details when we get to our big story segment. So you want to stay with us and we get this incisive with the issues there. But in other stories, National Youth Organizer of the new Patriotic Party, Salah Mustafa, is demanding an apology from President John Mahama to Ghanaians over his failure to tackle the Galamsey menace since his return to power earlier this year. He's also accused members of the governing National Democratic Congress, who criticized former President Akufo-Addo of failing to solve the menace, as now being heavily involved in illegal mining activities. Speaking to the regional youth organizers of the NPP at the party's headquarters, Salah Mustafa said NDC's attitude towards its own campaign promises should not be countenanced.
First time in our history, a minister of state can sit on national TV and cry in despair because he cannot handle a job that has been given him. The minister of lands and natural resources sits on TV and weep like a baby because he cannot flush out illegal miners doing illegal mining in places that are designated for non-mining. They cannot. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo put his presidency on the line, and it came with a huge cost to the new Patriotic Party that we lost in mining areas because of the dedicated fight against illegal mining. Today, the very people who were shouting on rooftops, who were veneers of propaganda, accused Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, hanged it on him, called him names, who knew all the solutions, today are found wanting. Sadly, you can see NDC operatives heckling state security apparatus in full display of the public, and these people are not picked up. They are allowed to go and continue their mining because they are members of the NDC. But the same security apparatus can quickly go and arrest an innocent and armed young man because he made a post that says, "Rest well, Your Excellency." The state machinery in Gestapo style went after him, picked him up and kept him for 2 nights and took him to court and charged him just because of a Facebook post. But those who were able, mustered courage to stop military convoy are walking free. That is the kind of state in which we are living today. If this is not sad, I don't know what else it can be. If this is not a deterioration of the state of Ghana, I don't know what more it can be.
He also accused the Mahama-led government of deceiving Ghanaians with their 24-hour economic policy, which he describes as a fiasco.
We, the youth of the new Patriotic Party, know that indeed, with time, everyone will come to appreciate the work Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has done. Even though today, the lofty promises that the NDC made that fell so sweet in the ears of Ghanaians and many of my compatriot youth today are all falling apart. The very famous promise of a 24-hour economy has turned nothing but a fiasco as far as this government is concerned. It was a promise of Adanko Adada Adoi. Quite sadly, for a matter that touches on the prospects of the young people in our country, the NDC will find it so easy to throw out as far as implementation is concerned after having won a massive victory. Sadly, we were hoping to see that the NDC would implement a 24-hour economy within the first 120 days in office and also in their first budget statement. None of it is coming to fruition. And by extrapolation, I can state emphatically, in the next 4 years, we will not see a 24-hour economy with 1 job, 3 people, and 3 shifts. It will not happen. This shows the level of deception that the NDC engaged in as far as the electioneering was concerned. It was all for votes and nothing else. I think and I believe that this NDC administration needs to render an unqualified apology to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the NPP. Even though they are still in the very early periods of their governance, the early signs clearly show that they are not going to do anything far in excess of what Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia government did. If track record is anything to go by, the previous government created over 1.3 million jobs. Today, the very people who canvassed on a 24-hour economy to provide jobs for young people are rather dismissing people who were rightfully employed. I want to assure all the thousands of young people who have been retrenched, who have been sacked for no reason of theirs, that they should have hope. The new Patriotic Party would win elections and we will do right to them. We will not forsake them.
The Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining is asking Lands and Natural Resources Minister Emmanuel Amakufibua to broaden the crackdown on illegal mining, not to focus solely on Akuntam Mining Limited, but to pursue all companies and individuals engaged in the destructive practice. Convener, Engineer Kenneth Ashigbe, tells Joy News the minister must go after all companies identified to be destroying the environment.
If you look into the issues of Heritage Imperial as well, who were giving exploratory licenses that were alleged to have gotten themselves involved in mining itself. They were in court, and in their court documents, they talked, when they sued the rascals, they talked about their mining operations. We also should be looking at the NDC MP for our win. The NDC MP for our win has been accused by his traditional authority of being involved in Galamsey. He says it's not true, and he is accusing his colleagues, his chiefs. That should be investigated. The NDC constituency chairperson for Axim has been accused by the Adamus Resources, a large-scale mining firm, of being involved in Galamsey. That should be investigated.
The Ghana Journalists Association is calling for increased security for journalists reporting on illegal mining. Speaking at a news briefing in Accra, President of the GJA, Albert Kwabena Jumfo, also called for the repeal of LI 2462 and the declaration of a state of emergency in the fight against illegal mining. Stephen Mensah has more in this report.
The Ghana Journalists Association is condemning the continued exclusion of journalists from national efforts to combat illegal mining. President of the GJA, Albert Jumfo, urged the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources to ensure adequate security for journalists who choose to report on illegal mining activities. Jumfo is also calling for the repeal of LI 2462 and the declaration of a state of emergency to intensify the fight against illegal mining.
There is no institution, I dare say, that has stayed the fight against Galamsey more than the media. We shall never stop this fight until Galamsey is knocked out. We wish to commend all our comrades in the fields working hard for Mother Ghana, even at the peril of their lives. We also demand from the minister and the government the protection of journalists and facilitation of their work in mining fields to enable them discharge their duties without hindrance, fear, and threat to their lives. We urge the minister to immediately collaborate with the GJA and the media to fashion out ways in which the media can play a greater and more impactful roles in the fight against Galamsey.
The Ghana Journalists Association is also urging the Ghana Police Service to take decisive action regarding the impasse between Media General and the new Patriotic Party, citing threats to media freedom and safety from the party's third national chairman. The GJA has demanded that the national chairman withdraw his comments and offer a public apology.
We find the actions and comments of Alhaji Masaudu very reckless, reprehensive, and regrettable. His actions and comments are not only a threat to human life, they are also a threat to the lives of the rule of law and our democracy. We condemn them in no uncertain terms and called on the MPP third national vice chairman to withdraw his reckless comment and apologize for same.
Responding to the arrest and detention of journalist Gordon Asare-Bediako, Albert Jumfo stated that the Office of the Special Prosecutor should prioritize the prosecution of corrupt officials rather than persecute and witch-hunt journalists.
We have directed our lawyers to file an application for an injunction to restrain the OSP from engaging in any further act of harassment or undue interference with regards to Asare-Bediako and any other journalist. The special prosecutor must focus on his core mandate, on his constitutional mandate as special prosecutor, and not deviate from it to become special persecutor.
Reporting for Joy News, Stephen Mensah.
The new Patriotic Party has announced plans for a series of mass protests across the country following President John Mahama's suspension of Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo, a move the opposition party has condemned as unprecedented attack on judicial independence and a blatant violation of Ghana's constitution. NPP national organizer Henry Nana Boakye says the party would not allow what it perceives as an erosion of democratic norms to go unchallenged. He was speaking at the party's Thank You Tour launch here in Accra, and Kenneth Jesse was there for us and reports.
Well, the new Patriotic Party says it is set to embark on a thank you tour across the length and breadth of the country. They will be touring the entire 16 regions of the country to thank the electorate and reassure their base that they are still a party to be reckoned with. The party's 2024 flag bearer, Mamudu Bawumia, well, he said that he was also happy with the Mike Okoye report, saying that it has put to bed a lot of propaganda.
I am very, very happy that Professor Mike Okoye and his Elections Review Committee have submitted their report. We've waited for this report for a long time, and they delivered the report on time. And I must say that I am very happy with the Okoye report. It has put to bed a lot of the propaganda that was going around about exactly why we lost the election. And I'm very happy about that. And when you look at the data is very clear. In many constituencies across the country, the MPP presidential candidate performed better than the Christian parliamentary candidates in many constituencies across. So it couldn't be, if they were voting because of religion, I shouldn't be performing better than the Christian parliamentary candidates. Even my good friend, Intim Fodio, who is giving a lot of heat to the government at the moment in Parliament. Intim Fodio is a reverend father in Intim Fodio, as in South. But I did better than him in his constituency. So he did so well. I mean, he did and mobilized the votes for me, and I thank him very much. But if you look at all across the country, the fact is that there was no religious factor in the voting.
The party's national organizer, Henry Nana Boakye, said the MPP is unhappy with the way President John Mahama is handling the Chief Justice matter by suspending the Chief Justice, Gertrude Torkornoo. He has vowed that the party will embark on a series of protests to express their dissatisfaction.
Democracy is under attack. Our judiciary is under attack. Do not think that this attack is on the person of Chief Justice Torkornoo. No, it is the entire judiciary. Expect massive protest from us. We will agitate. We will not sit down quietly. We will agitate. This is unconstitutional.
From the MPP's national headquarters in Accra, my name is Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
In other stories, President John Mahama will later today launch the free sanitary pad policy. This idea will benefit more than 2 million females in basic and senior high schools. Government, during the 2025 budget presentation, revealed 292.4 million Ghana cedis has been allocated to ensure smooth implementation or implication of this policy. Now, Deputy Education Minister Dr. Clement Park has been speaking to journalists.
Importance of this program to our national development and interest doesn't need any re-emphasis. So tomorrow's launch is going to be conducted by His Excellency President John Mahama as the guest of honor at the national launch. In terms of the figures, it is our estimation that slightly above 2 million girls, both in basic and secondary, are expected to benefit. As I indicated earlier, the procurement processes have been complete. And from those of you who have been monitoring the media and have been reading the papers, there were several lots that were advertised. So it is a mix of companies from different backgrounds that have been given the opportunity to participate in this very important national exercise.
Deputy Director of Nursing Services at the Ankaf Psychiatric Hospital in the Central Region, Grace Kokotete, has urged Ghanaians and families to desist from abandoning their mentally challenged relatives at psychiatric institutions. Sharing these words while accepting donations made by Charity Prayer Ministries, a church in Ebra, the Deputy Director stated that several mentally challenged patients escape these facilities to go home due to the feeling of abandonment and advised families to make visitation a priority to curb the sad situation. Abigail Isel in Nkrumah has more.
While expressing their gratitude to the church for the donation made to the hospital, the Deputy Director of Nursing Services at the Ankaf Psychiatric Hospital, Grace Kokotete, advised the youth to desist from red and other hard drugs that affect mental health and called on government to help improve the hospital's infrastructure.
And we are grateful because there are so many places they will decide to go. But God put it on their heart to come here, and they are here, so we are grateful. All that we are saying, that others should copy and also come with their gifts, because our inmates need gifts, so they should bring it. If you have a sister here, please come and visit. People are not coming, so please come and visit. And these items will go a long way to help the inmates. So we are grateful. And we hope Mama Charity will come again. Today will not be the last, so we are grateful. The challenge, like I said, people will dump their patients. They won't come to visit, so some of the patients will run away and join them in their house. For the men, they're going for the drugs, but the women, disappointment and frustrations, yeah. The youth, the red, they should stop. I had something red, maybe I don't know. But then when you take it, you'll be confused, and I think they should desist from it. It's very bad. And the ladies to the men, when you marry, please stick to your wife. Make sure you take good care of your wife so that everything will be pepe.
The Secretary of Charity Prayer Ministries located in Abra, Kojeja, Gift to Painso, reiterated the advice to the youth to avoid hard drugs and appeal to government to be more vigilant about the importation of such drugs.
So as a church, we believe that Christ died for us for our sins, and the love that Christ showed us, we believe that it is very necessary that we also show the little love that we also have. We have to show it by sharing little things that we also have. That is why our General Overseer, our mother, has actually decided to join hands with the whole church so that we bring out these little items for our dear sick people. We pray that may they be healed, or whatever they are doing for them, may it come out to be successful. We would encourage everybody to look unto God, and everything will be fine. For those who import that drug, we will urge the government to actually help the whole country by actually getting a detailed information about whatever comes into the country, so that the youth would actually grow and grow very well in the Lord.
Among the items donated are rice, soft drinks, and toiletries. From Ankaf, Abigail Isel in Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Benjamin Akakbo is standing by to serve you business update.
Let's get to our stories now. And senior finance lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Benjamin Amwa, says a regulation of cryptocurrencies in Ghana would not have any impact on the cedi, particularly in cross-border or digital transactions. Now, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, earlier announced that the central bank would begin regulating cryptocurrencies in Ghana later this year. Reacting to the development, Dr. Amwa said the strong reserve position of the Bank of Ghana should be able to absorb any shocks.
What will happen is that the central bank itself, I think some few months ago, talked about its own digital currency, what we call the ECD. And that ECD is just similar to the cryptocurrency, but the difference is that with the ECD, it is the central bank or the state that is issuing it. the value of the ECD, which is the same as your CD in your pocket, will be backed by the country's reserves. So the volatility there is just like what we have within the normal, Ghana cedi we are using. In the crypto space, because it is decentralized, the value of the currency is an issue of demand and supply. And currency per se should not have its value changing because of demand and supply. The stability of the currency should be influenced by the reserves that back the currency.
Now, the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport is raising concerns that Ghana's ports are losing significant transit traffic to neighboring Togo and Cote d'Ivoire due to high import charges. Speaking to Joy Business, the Prefect of Fellows Guide of CILT, Ghana, Cletus Kuzagbe, called for the removal of some taxes at the ports, stating that the situation was not only affecting local businesses in the transport and logistics sector, but also port traffic.
About the ports, the problems in the ports and the rest, that's true. For some time now, traffic in the port has gone down because of some of the charges you did mention. And honestly, some of them need to be removed. I think that the new government is starting some of those things. And trade increase in the port, when we have traffic from the landlocked countries like the Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, they pass a lot of their goods through the port. But when the port charges increased, some affect them. But honestly speaking, the goods are not for the country. They just pass through. So what one needs is the handling charges. But other things are slapped on them and the rest, which have made them go back to, especially the French countries, which they thought maybe they are brothers. But initially, a lot of them are coming, but the charges have brought the traffic down. Yeah, but we have solutions. So the government should look at some of this area to see what needs to be done. And also moving of the goods from the port to wherever they need to go, how it could be done efficiently, removing roadblocks or checks on the road to minimize them so that cargo can pass through this port. For some time ago, a lot of these goods for the neighboring countries do pass through our ports, but that has diminished. We think from the discussions today, a lot has to be done.
Well, that's how we cap off our business updates for you this morning. Handing over to the lady in red.
Hey, Benjamin
Lady in red. Sweetie.
Well, that does it for the AM News. Benjamin, you have a nice singing voice.
Thank you.
Let's get ready for the news review now. And our guest will be joining us in a bit. We'll be right back.